Hello, everyone. Just a little explanation in terms of how we analyze characterizations. We had the little assignment about the foil character. Another crucial way that we analyze characterization is through this Steele method, and it's direct characterization and indirect characterization. You'll also hear explicit or implicit. They mean the same thing. Indirect and implicit characterization are the same. Direct and explicit are the same. Characterization in general, again, is the process by which writers reveal the personality of a character. Simple aspect, right? As I said, it's revealed through these two separate kind of ways that an author tells or describes the character. So, direct or explicit characterization tells the audience what the personality of the character is without any ambiguity. And also, too, I should say, like, not just personality, as we'll see in the one example, skill sets, anything about the character, again, without any ambiguity. So, one example, evidently the Munchkins were good farmers and able to raise large crops, right? Clear characterization of the Munchkins being farmers. There's no ambiguity here, right? There's no debate. We can't say they're not good farmers. There's no analytical idea that we could interpret here. They're simply good farmers. Same thing here. Now, this one is almost a mix, but you'll see why it is explicit characterization in this section. Toto did not approve this new comrade at first, for he could not forget how nearly he had been crushed between the lion's great jaws. But after a time, he became more at ease, and presently Toto and the cowardly lion had grown to be good friends. The first part is a little bit more of an indirect, right? Even though we're getting, again, a direct characterization of how Toto's feeling, but here's where the directness comes in. Baum has the narrator directly tell the audience that Toto and the Cowardly Lion became good friends without relating any kind of events that lead up to this moment. And that's why it's direct characterization. We don't see them slowly become friends through trial and tribulations. We're just told, okay, Toto didn't like Lion at first, and now he likes him. So there's no room for interpretation here. There's no ambiguity, there's no debate. Again, the first part definitely fits a bit with indirect since we're talking about feelings, but since, again, we have this directness, there's no debate that they are not friends. Direct characterization, right? These two are now friends. Okay, fine, right? We move on. A lot of times, the reasons why authors use direct characterization is really, again, to swiftly describe a character or group of characters and then move on. As you'll see with the implicit examples, and there are many ways that Baum uses indirect characterization in the novel. But again, there are moments where he just wants to, get to another point. He doesn't need to tell us all the ways that Toto might have disliked him at first. It's just, okay, he disliked him, and now he doesn't. Quick, direct characterization moment. Now, when we get to the indirect and direct idea, the indirect one or implicit characterization shows. So rather than tells us, it shows us. And so if you've ever been in a creative writing class, the show, do not tell. That's kind of what they're getting at here. In this case, it shows aspects that reveal the personality of the character. We have to encode them, read into them, right? The reader needs to infer the character traits. There are 5 different methods of indirect or implicit characterization, and that's where we get the Steele method. So we have speech. How does the character talk? What does the character say, right? How does the character speak? Thoughts and feelings, what is revealed through the private thoughts and feelings of a character? The effects on others, so what is revealed through the character's effect on other people? How do other people feel or behave in reaction to the character? And you'll see a lot of that. And that's why, here, besides kind of thought, the effect is, again, a little bit there, obviously, because Lion is affecting Toto, but because it is described in a very swift, direct way, that gives us a specific resolution. It's not as indirect as it seems. Actions, too. So anytime an actor, or I shouldn't say actor, well, anytime a character does something or behaves in a certain way, that is all indirect. And then looks too. So how does the character look? How does the character dress and so forth? All that, typically is going to be symbolic of the character's either personality traits or symbolic of something else used as a metaphor and so forth. And again, anytime you see moments of dialogue, that's always going to be indirect. So we have a couple examples, and I said there are numerous examples of indirect. Here are a few. So we have a speech from Witch of the North when she's telling Dorothy all the aspects of Munchkinville and all sorts of things. So here, notice what she's saying here. There were only 4 witches in all the land of Oz, and 2 of them, those who live in the north and the south, are good witches. I know this is true, for I am one of them myself, and cannot be mistaken. So here, through the speech, right, of the Witch of the North, Baum reveals her view of herself, right, as infallible and good. Since she presents herself as someone who cannot be mistaken, she shows her good nature as well as her pride in herself, right? So she's not a humble character. And this is where we get to, again, notice how, Baum isn't directly telling us she's not humble, right? We have to infer that she does take pride in herself, right? She isn't humble, even though she's the good person, right? She has a more complex morality, right? So she's not just pure and humble, right? She's prideful, she's confident. And so all those aspects we can infer through the way, especially this crucial last phrase, right, cannot be mistaken. We have another strong example, and this is where Baum is doing a lot of kind of symbolic writing. We have Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry never laughed. He worked hard from morning till night and did not know what joy was. He was gray also, from his long beard to his rough boots, right? He looked stern and solemn and rarely spoke. Well, here we get a lot, right? We almost get a lack of speech here, but rarely spoke. So through behavior, action, looks, and feelings, right, Baum reveals how Uncle Henry is a stoic man who believes in hard work. His gray looks are symbolic of how desolate Kansas is and how empty his life is. Since he never laughs and does not know what joy is, Baum reveals the consequences of living a life without imagination or ambition. So again, we get this huge chunk of indirect characterization. Why doesn't he laugh? Why doesn't he not know joy? Right? Baum isn't saying directly, right? We have to infer that he's a stoic man. We have to infer through that, again, look and solemn, rarely spoke, right? That he's taking on the idea of, a manly man too, right? Or we could further put that in the explanation as well, right? That, he's following, what he thinks a real man should be. A real man should be, stoic and so forth. So all these things help us determine who these characters are. So I wanted to give you a good explanation of this, kind of characterization model. So when you do the homework, you have a little bit better understanding than just reading through. Obviously, if you have questions, email or post them to the Canvas forum. If not, good luck with this assignment and take care.